Barcelona are flying when it comes to scoring goals. Mohamed Salah is en route to potentially break records in the Premier League. So it got me thinking, who are the best attackers in European football this season so far? We're in March, so disclaimer guys, there's still about another month or so of the season left, but a lot of these players in my list are on path to win some sort of silverware. So let me know your thoughts down below. Here's my top 10 attackers in Europe so far. Let's start with number 10. At number 10, I'm going to start with Michael Olise at Bayern Munich, en route to win the Bundesliga and in a quarter-final in the Champions League. 13 goals and 11 assists so far this season, and a lot of people were questioning the move from Crystal Palace to Bayern Munich and whether or not he would be able to have an impact on that team, you know, a team that has Musiala and Harry Kane in the front line. But he's slotted into that right-hand side and has done so very comfortably now. He was linked to a lot of teams as well in the summer, Manchester United, Chelsea, but I think Bayern Munich was probably the best move for him to go to the German league to try and increase his output, especially statistically, getting those double digits in goals and assists, and is en route, like I said, to win a league title and in a quarterfinal of the Champions League. I still think there are better right wingers than him in European football right now, and I think there are better wingers, but he's definitely, in terms of wingers, I would say he's definitely in the top 10 without a doubt. Could we argue right hand side he's probably 5th or 6th in European football? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But in terms of the best forwards in Europe right now, I put him at number 10. And at number 9 is none other than Lewandowski. I know you lot might think, what the hell? But there is a long list of players this season that are having amazing output, not just statistically, than what Lewandowski is doing. Lewandowski, in terms of numbers, 35 goals. We're only in March and he's got 35 goals in all competitions. I actually think he's the top scorer out of all of the top European leagues, excluding Gyökeres, who has 40 goals this season. He has the most in the top 5 European leagues. Should I put him slightly more out? Maybe I should have put him at 8th place. But, you know, Lewandowski, he's like fine wine. He's aging and he's just getting better. And especially in what I think is a very demanding Hansi Flick style of football. It's a type of football that is consistent. It's always on the go. The ball is always on the move. And, you know, he's got 2 exhilarating wingers playing next to him. So if I was playing there as well, I would be scoring absolute bangers. He did score a cracker of a goal against Atletico on the weekend, I'm not gonna lie, and like I said, he's getting better with age after making that move from Bayern Munich. But I still think that Lewandowski, there's a couple of strikers, number 9s, that I would have over Lewandowski just overall this season. I still think he's a great player, don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player. And you see actually the difference in Barcelona when Ferran Torres starts up front in comparison to when Lewandowski does. You see sometimes Hansi Flick likes to experiment and sometimes it's not worked out, and then he'll opt to bring on Lewandowski. But 35 goals in the season so far is no joke. And by the way, Barcelona are en route to potentially win a quadruple. They could win a quadruple. I don't want to jinx them. And if they're able to do that, then Lewandowski, I think, will finish quite high up in the Ballon d'Or rankings as well. In 8th place is none other than Vinicius Jr. I actually think I'm putting Vinicius Jr. quite low down to what expectations are, but I don't think he's been as prolific as last season. I genuinely don't think that. I think when it comes to the integration of Mbappe, you know, trying to find the balance between Rodrigo, Mbappe and Vinicius has taken some time. I think they found the balance at this point of the season, but we definitely saw the beginning of the season, the kind of the inability or maybe the disgruntled performances from Vinicius. 18 goals and 11 assists in all competitions for him this season. And like I said, on what is expected from him in La Liga, he's not been scoring as prolifically as maybe that you would expect. I actually don't think he's been top 3 wingers in Europe this season. I genuinely think that. But I put him at number 8. And number 7 is, I think, the only Englishman on my list is Harry Kane, who could possibly win his first ever trophy in his footballing career this season if Bayern Munich, and they are expected to, pick up the Bundesliga. 32 goals and 11 assists, like similar to Elise in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, en route to win the Bundesliga. Harry Kane, just like Lewandowski, with age just keeps getting better and better, and in a different type of striker role where he likes to drop deep. You see it in the creative element of his game. 11 assists this season, but he's still able to find the back of the net. And having a player like Elise, having Musiala, having these creative players behind you that will find you in the box is what every striker probably dreams of having. In terms of, I've seen some games, for example, last season in his debut year for Bayern Munich, where it looked like fans were disgruntled. You think of a striker and you think you're in the box, get in the box, but because he likes to drop deep and link up the play, I saw fans getting a bit frustrated last season. But it seems like Bayern Munich have found a way to work around that. Maybe bringing in Elise has helped to increase that utilization from Harry Kane. But I'm putting Harry Kane at number 7, because at number 6 for me is a all-rounded number 9 that I think will be the hottest property this summer transfer window. Alexander Isak, bringing Newcastle their first ever trophy in nearly 70 years, 23 goals, 5 assists, but it's also just his all-rounded play for me as a striker makes him the best number 9 in the world right now. We could talk about, the Lewandowskis and the Kanes that I just mentioned, but when you're talking about completeness of a striker, I think Alexander Isak has all of that. I genuinely think that. And if, as a Man United fan, I know it's very unlikely, but I would love Manchester United to sign him. But I do wonder, wherever he goes in the summer, if he stays at Newcastle, he will probably go on and, go up a step. If you watch him, against Nottingham Forest this season, for example, I remember watching it Newcastle against Nottingham Forest, and it's not just the fact that he can score goals, which is what you would want your number 9 to do. It's the way that he disrupts the backline, and he did it against Arsenal, he did it against Liverpool. He will drag centre-backs away from position into unusual or uncomfortable situations. And because he can dribble, because he can run at you with the ball, because he can make runs in behind, you never know what his actual next move is. And that for me is probably what makes him such a complete number 9. It's his all-rounded play, where if he is not scoring, sometimes I feel like with some number 9s in Europe right now, when they are not scoring, they are like a passenger in the team. They have no influence whatsoever on the game. And I don't think that's necessarily the case for Isak either. If you think about that goal he scored in the final against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, that's just an instinct finish from a striker, and that's what you want from your number 9. Like I said, for me, he is the best number 9 in Europe overall this season, and we can debate that. Let me know your thoughts down below. And number 5, probably one of my most favourite players to watch this season, without a doubt, is Lamine Yamal, the youngest player on the list. I think in the coming seasons he will grow up and up and up that list and eventually be probably the best player in Europe. For what he's doing at the age of 17 should easily, without a doubt, make him the best player. 13 goals, 17 assists. When Lamine Yamal cuts in on that left foot, it's cash money. That's going top corner. And that I've seen him cook left back after left back after left back this season. I've seen him enjoy himself playing against, it's free-willed football, if you want to call it that. Hansi Flick allows his players to just play on the pitch, take the ball, run at players. It's exciting, it's exhilarating. It's what I grew up watching in terms of football, not this system style football and what Pep has made into football. Sorry, Pep, but what Pep has made into football. That's not what I grew up watching. I grew up watching wingers run at players, dribble, do skills, get past the man, nutmeg him, etc., etc. Lamine Yamal for me is one of the most exciting players in Europe right now, and because of the fact that he's doing it at the age of 17. I mean, the fact that he was doing it at 15, 16 in the Euros. I don't think we've seen a player of that level at that age since probably Kylian Mbappe. And before that, I can't even remember who it was. Was it Neymar? Then it Wayne Rooney, Messi. Like, when you're thinking about young 15, 16, 17-year-old players that are playing at this level, Lamine Yamal is in the bracket of Neymar, Mbappe, Wayne Rooney, Messi, CR7. He's in those names. And if you are in those names, you are only destined for greatness. You are only destined for greatness. Lamine Yamal, like I said, one of my favourite players in Europe to watch. It's an absolute joy to watch Barcelona as a neutral. I love watching Barcelona. I feel like Barcelona this season is what Real Madrid were for me a couple of seasons ago when Benzema was there. When I enjoyed watching Real Madrid. This season, not so much, but I still enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching football just overall. But Lamine Yamal for me in 5th place in terms of the top European players in Europe, this season, attackers. Now, 4th place, this might not sit well with a lot of people, but for me, Mohamed Salah is at number 4. He's at number 4. 32 goals, 22 assists in 43 games, all competitions. He is en route to break multiple records in the Premier League. Goal scoring records, assist records, and goal contributions. And on top of that, he's probably going to win the Premier League with Liverpool. But you think of the big games this season and how he disappeared. I feel like I'm being harsh on saying that he disappeared. If anything, his teammates should have picked up the slack, because there's a couple of Barcelona players on my list where if they are not performing well in a game, their teammates pick up the slack. Mohamed Salah has not had that luxury of having his attacking teammates picking up the slack when maybe he can't do so. But despite that, statistically, he is having a phenomenal season, and he has single-handedly, I think, dragged the Liverpool to the title. If they're probably going to go on and win it, and I think he has dragged them to it. Now, is he still in that Ballon d'Or contention? 100%. But I said this a couple of weeks ago that I think that the Ballon d'Or winner will come from whoever wins the Champions League. If Barcelona win it, I think there's some players that will be in contention. If Real Madrid win it, some players will be in contention. If Bayern Munich win it, some players will be in contention. I genuinely think, because of the weight that the UCL holds in European football, that Mohamed Salah had to see it through with Liverpool, but he was unable to do so. And not just that, it's the manner in which they got knocked out and the performances that Mohamed Salah put up in those games. Absolutely null factor across both legs, and in the Carabao Cup final as well against Newcastle. So for that reason, I'm putting him fourth. But like I said, statistically, he's having one of the best performances in Europe this season. And also, can I just say, 22 assists is serious numbers. That is serious numbers for somebody who has always been seen as this goal-scoring threat. He's also en route to climb up the goal-scoring records as well in the Premier League. In number 3, Kylian Mbappe. Kylian Mbappe for me is number 3, 30 goals and only 4 assists. However, I think it's the way that he started the season compared to how he looks now. Let this be no secret. I think Real Madrid is Kylian Mbappe's team. Next season, he's the superstar of the team. And I don't know if Vinicius is maybe realizing that, but I do think Kylian Mbappe is his team and everybody else is role players. They are role characters in the club right now, or maybe next season. But I'm really impressed with the way that I'm really impressed with the way that Mbappe started the season and the struggles that he had. If you think back to the El Clasico against Barca, he was struggling against their high line. Couple of months later, he's finding his form against everybody else, and he's being able to single-handedly win games for Real Madrid, whether it's Champions League games or whether it's league games. I think people have disrespected him a lot when he was at PSG with the notion that it's only the Farmers League. But now he's showing you guys he can do it in La Liga. And Real Madrid are on course for a treble. They're competing for the league, competing for Champions League, on their way as well in a semi-final as well. So they could also win a treble. They could. And if he wins La Liga in his debut season, or he wins the Champions League in his debut season, I have to respect it. We have to respect it. And number 2, one of the most exciting players that when he's in form, and he has the ball at his feet, you're standing up, you're waiting for what's to come. Ousmane Dembele, another player that I feel like he has found himself at PSG. It's funny that Kylian Mbappe has gone to Real Madrid and he's found his footing from PSG, whereas Ousmane Dembele has gone to PSG and he's found himself as well there. 30 goals and 6 assists. He's actually scored the most goals in the 2025 calendar year. Already won a trophy with PSG, en route, like I said, to win the league in France and still in the Champions League. Got a relatively, I think, decent route to the semi-final, against Aston Villa, and then come up against Real Madrid or Arsenal. I think PSG are strong favourites. I do think they're strong favourites. In the Champions League, I would love to watch PSG versus Barcelona in the final. I think that would be an exciting final. I know a lot of people want to see an El Clasico matchup against, but I think PSG versus Barcelona would be a great matchup. But Ousmane Dembele, I'm so happy how he's performing this season, because this is the Ousmane Dembele that we didn't really see at Barcelona. We saw little glimpses, but he just never found himself. And this season, he's the man. He's the man at PSG. But equally with saying that, I like the balance that PSG have, which I think plays to his strengths because he can play across that front line. They've brought in Kvaratskhelia, they got Bradley Barcola, they got Desire Doué. They got this balance in the front line that I think, Real Madrid, I think with Mbappe, Rodrigo, with Bellingham, with Vinicius, I think it took them some time to find that balance. And I think it's been the same with PSG under Luis Enrique. But I think Luis Enrique has done a great job with having the right profiles that complement one another. And Dembele is benefiting from a player like Barcola, with a player like Kvaratskhelia that joined in January. He is benefiting from them. And, he's such a two-footed player that whether he's got the ball on his right foot, on his left foot, something exciting is coming. So I had to put him at second place this season. But the best attacker for me in Europe right now is Rafinha. I don't know. Some people might not agree with me. Some people might, put Mohamed Salah slightly higher. They might put maybe Vinicius slightly higher, Mbappe slightly higher. But Rafinha for me is the best player in European football right now. 27 goals, 20 assists, 42 games, won the Super Cup, on course to win a treble with Barcelona if they're able to pull it off. And it's not just that, it's the fact that he shifted to the left-hand side. And just in the summer, guys, this is why I respect him so much. Because just in the summer, there was rumours about Nico Williams and photoshopped pictures of Nico Williams with Rafinha's number on the back. And he said he felt disrespected. Well, the best way to respond to what you feel like is disrespect is to leave everything on the pitch. And that's exactly what he's doing this season. If he wins La Liga, if he wins Champions League, I think he is destined to win the Ballon d'Or. I definitely think that. But equally with saying that, my list of top 10, I feel like the top 5 that I have, I think is interchangeable. If any of you guys said to me, I'd put Ousmane Dembele at number 1 or I'd put Salah at 1, I would totally understand. It's been a difficult list for me to put together, but you can see, I think, the repeat factors in the top 10. Everybody, except for Alexander Isak, everyone in my top 10 is competing for their league title. Every one of them, except for Mohamed Salah and Isak, are in the Champions League. Some honourable mentions to some forwards. Victor Osimhen, he's got 26 goals and 5 assists. Lautaro Martinez, another exciting striker, but equally an exciting title race in Italy. He got 18 goals this season. Gyökeres got 40 goals for Sporting. Erling Haaland, 29 goals as well. There's still a lot of players out there. I think if I did a top 15 or top 20, there'll be a lot of other players that I could possibly add. The top 10 was hard because I feel like everybody is interchangeable. Generally speaking, I think everyone in the list is interchangeable, but I'm not just considering stats or what they're doing for their team. I'm also considering the profile of their player and what they've been doing in the season outside of statistics and outside of the data metrics. I don't know, man. I don't want to say the eye test, guys, but the eye test matters. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Do you agree? Is Rafinha the best attacker right now in European football? Did I put Mohamed Salah too high up? Did I put Lamine Yamal too low down? Should Harry Kane be more high up? Should Lewandowski be in the top 5? Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new here.